So I got this laptop in for a keyboard replacement. However, check this out. As you can see, this bit of the casing is being pushed up by something, right? Kind of weird. And then if I'll clean this up for him, but if we open this up, and the left click's kind of tough. It's really tough to click, and if I try to do anything up here, it's not going to work at all. The right click's fine, well, mostly, but the left click's it's tough. So, and then you can see there's stuff popping out, like whenever this keyboard's kind of popping out in the corner there. So something weird's going on, right? Alright, so let's open this up, and then you'll see what's happening. So as I take a screw out, it's popping up more. The casing's just being pushed off by something. And this is actually a very common issue with a lot of laptops. And I've seen it, let's see, I've seen it most with MacBooks, MacBook Pros. You'll get in a laptop with one of these internal batteries, and what happens is they swell up. But of course, lithium-ion batteries are pretty dangerous. If you puncture them, or they take a big impact of some sort, they slam down, I mean, they can explode. And this one's not nearly as bad as some others I've run into, but it is an issue, and some of the screw holders have popped off of this as a result. But I don't know. Yeah, you can see the swelling here, even on this kind of crappy camera. And then on this side, you can see how it's swollen. So, if you happen to have a laptop or even a phone, I think even the phones do it now. I haven't run into that issue with any of mine, but if you have a laptop and part of the casing looks like it's being pushed off, or it's really hard to press down on the touchpad, or certain things on the system look like they're being pushed up out of the system, it might be due to a swollen battery. And whenever this happens, you know, some of the cells might still be good in it, but you'll notice that usually they don't work at all. So at that point, you usually want to get it replaced. But in this particular case, this customer doesn't really have the budget to get a replacement battery in addition to what they've already gotten. So what we're going to do for them is just leave the battery out, and then whenever they're ready, they can get the battery replacement, or they can just get a whole new laptop, or whatever the kind of computer they feel like they need. Also makes it a little bit lighter, so that might be good for them. But you don't need a battery for the system to function. If you take it out, it's kind of like a desktop at that point, where, you know, with a desktop computer, you just have a power cable go into it and you turn it on, and that's all there is. Yeah, this looks much nicer now. So I'm going to try and do quite a few more videos as we get computers in for repair, kind of just walk through the repair process. This was just something quick that I was wanting to show everybody, because it is something I run into every now and then. I used to run into it a lot more when I worked on more Apple computers, but if you've got one of these internal batteries, which is more common now with most laptops, so that's a thing that happens. Oh man, on this thing right here, doing the keyboard replacement was a pain in the butt. We actually had to completely disassemble the whole thing, and that was not a fun task. So normally, if you've got a keyboard, it's as simple as just taking off a few screws on the bottom and then popping the keyboard off. You know, you get something. Usually, we'll use preferably plastic, so you don't scratch anything. But you use this to kind of wedge under the keyboard and pop it out once you got the screws out. And they're on the underside of the laptop. There will be, if you take off the back, there might be a ZIF cable or something like that. Or it might be directly under the keyboard. You just undo the little latch for the ZIF cable, pull the keyboard out, put in the new one, exactly as the old one was taken out, and then you're good. But in this case, the ZIF cable, there were two ZIF cables because it's backlit, and then they were slid under into the system, under the motherboard, and then over and around the motherboard. So everything, and then there was the hard drive in the way, the heat sink in the way, the battery in the way, and the motherboard in the way. So I had to take basically all of these components completely out of the system, or at least moved up so I could get access to the ZIF cables and feed them back through the front of the laptop, the front of the casing, the palm rest area. And that's just terrible design, because guess what? Keyboards are one of those things that you need to replace every now and then on laptops, so you want to make the person trying to work on its job as easy as possible. At the very least, just popping this back panel off is easy enough, and you've got full access to the hard drive and RAM. They do that on fewer and fewer laptops nowadays, unfortunately. So, because everyone wants everything thin and light. If you want everything super thin and light, then you've got to have it all integrated into one big board. So, yeah, now everything's not being pushed up. It looks real nice. We'll have to, again, clean this up before I give it back to the customer. But no more casing. Case being pushed up. So something that's important to me is that it's important to do lots of little things for your customers. If there's something that's not going to take but a minute or two out of your time, it's really important to show your customers that you care about them. You want to show your clients you care about them, and you know they expect a certain number of things, and then it's important for you, especially if it doesn't require a great deal of extra effort, to go above and beyond their expectations. And it's all those little things that make people really appreciate what they get, right? So, and that applies to beyond business. You know, if you've got a significant other, and they expect a certain number of things from you, and then when they get more than that, it just livens up their day, right? So, one thing that we do is we'll dust out the systems. If your system's really dusty, we're going to go and dust it out. We're not going to charge anything for it. We're not even going to ask you. We're just going to do it. And then, so if you're already paying for something, then it doesn't take but a minute for us to do it. And then you get it back, and it's a bit of preventative maintenance. So this particular system was, another thing we do is, this system was pretty dirty before, right? So the screen was really dirty, the palm rest was really dirty, the top casing here was really dirty. Like all of it was just had some crumbs, had some old stuff on it, and now we clean it up. And it's, if I brought something to a service provider and it was dirty, and then I get it back and it's clean, and I didn't ask for it, I didn't pay for it, that's going to make me pretty happy. So I'm hoping, I hope that by doing all these different kinds of things that my customers can see that I actually care about them, that it's my way of saying thank you so much for, you could have gone to a dozen other service providers, but you came to me. So I want to show you that I really appreciate that. And when I find businesses, service providers that do that same kind of thing, those are the people that I generally like to go to. All right, so if you happen to like what we do here, the kind of videos that we're putting out, do all the different subscribe-y, likey things, and whatever, fits within what you consider to be reasonable. And then also, we've got our store opening up on our online store where we'll have a lot of our products available, our desktops, our laptops, our computer accessories, and a wide variety of other things. Right now there's only a few items, but it will continue to expand. I will have links in the description, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.